What's up there, workforce? Chris here.
Brian here.
And guess what today is?
Well, I know.
It is August.
August 8th.
And August 8th means that Work To Game has just turned 2 years old.
2 years old. Thank you guys, each and every one of you, for being here. Whether you joined us on day one, Mom, love you, or you joined us later in our 2-year adventure here.
Your brother wouldn't subscribe to us till we hit 5,000 subs.
He wouldn't.
And
he
he's
finally
not going to
did.
subscribe to anybody that's less than 5,000.
So that was his rule. We hit it thanks to you guys. And it also marks another interesting milestone.
I counted them all up this morning.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I checked our video history.
You just scroll page to page, and then you lose
Next
count.
50,
And you're like,
next
no,
50. Oh,
I need a better system.
this video is our 1,000th post.
1,000 posts, 2 years, 1,000 videos. That is a lot of content, more than we ever thought when we started. We're like, maybe we'll do a couple a month.
Yeah, like once a week would be crazy.
Yeah, like what a concept. And so that would average out 500 videos a year.
Over 720 days. That's, yeah, we're
doing good.
We're doing a lot of posting.
And so as a treat, and I was telling Chris, I was like, I'm feeling like I'm just going to be a dork here, is that I was like, well, we want to introduce you guys to something, we've been doing behind the scenes before we film. Not really. This is a joke. But if you've been with us for a full 2 years, we'd like you to bookmark this spot right now. And we want to introduce you to the Work To Game official handshake. So
it's so secret, I don't even know about it.
He just learned about it. He's like, what do you want to talk about? I was like, I want to talk about our secret handshake.
Oh.
And so when you see us at, if you see us at FanFest or wherever, like you run to us at that grocery market, if you're here in the United States, we'll just kind of keep it broad. Here's the Work To Game. Can't even do it. All right. Jazz fingers. Sorry, that was lame. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling excited and really happy. I mean, it's been a fun 2-year adventure with you, Chris, and obviously with everybody here watching this video. What is your favorite memory over the last 2 years? Like, is it a specific video? Is it a specific comment? Like, you don't obviously have to quote the comment. Like, I want you to memorize it verbatim. What stands out to you?
I think it's been... first, my favorite thing about Work To Game is that it's been this outlet for this side of me that, like, my wife can only listen to so much of. Because I want to talk about video games a lot. Roughly 1,000 times.
Yeah. Around that.
So that's kind of my favorite part of Work To Game. As far as an individual memory, I don't know. I think making the outros with you really stand out. I think we have a lot of really ridiculous outros, especially the ones we made them at your house and I was rowing behind you. Yeah. That's the hardest I've laughed in a while.
I guess to answer my own question, I was thinking about this, and I like the outlet to be able to kind of talk with everybody about video games from like the good and the bad and ideas that we have, and that back and forth, and it's really great when we get to interact with like so many just amazing people. It'd take too long to list them all in this post, but I was sitting here and I was just thinking about it because it's like this year has been a lot of real world hurt. Like we lost Eric in March. That's kind of like, that kind of brings you back to the real world. Sometimes things in the world, and not going to get political in this post, can just kind of like stress you out. And I was sitting here talking with several, with like Sparta and with FreeSync. I'm butchering his name. But we were in Discord after your stream, and we were just chatting about like life. And I was like, it is so much more fun to talk about video games. It is such a joyful thing. I'm a very joyful person. But like, I didn't share this on the channel. We had some health issues like this year, and thankfully I don't have cancer, which is great. Huge news. And when I think about like all the stuff that can kind of get us down, like I'm a joyful person by nature, and talking about games is a joyful experience for me. Like it really excites me. Just like, I think Julie might say the same thing. It's like her and I get to talk politics. We get to talk about where we're going to send Maddie and the kids to school, when to start them in school, all this other stuff that we can talk about. and it's not competing with a like, hey, let me tell you about this patch, or hey, let me tell you about this game I'm excited about. And not that she doesn't like those conversations, she just feels like there was just this huge amount before, and now there's a reasonable amount to where she is interested in what's going on with the patch, but I can kind of spin 1,000 words on it, and for her I can be like, man, this is cool, I think you might like this, let me know when you're ready to come back after she has the baby.
So did you ever see us posting this long? Did you see YouTube being this long of a hobby when you went in?
Yes, because I'm an overambitious and just tenacious individual. Like, I'm like, if we had 10 subs, I'd be like, I'd be posting, Mom, hey. It's just like, my mom's always kind of said, she likes my videos because it's like she gets to have that experience with me. She doesn't understand fully what I'm talking about, in the sense, because she's not going to go pick up Final Fantasy, but she's like, I love watching you talk about this game, because it is fun for you. I come through in a realist sense, because she's like, that's, it's not like I'm not joyful off camera, but she's like, it's like if we were talking about anything with you, like I can just kick back, and it's like for her, get to see her son more and hear his voice more. And I as a son, I should call my mother more, just
sure.
These are the reality. It's like, yeah. But it's a nice way that she can get, and when we do talk, either on the phone in person, she's like, oh, Brian, yeah, I'm happy this is going well for you. I'm happy that, I don't get it, but can you explain it to me? So it's really nice. I really appreciate that.
Well, I don't know what I wanted this post to be, but I was really excited to film it. I was really excited to be at 1,000.
It's significant.
That feels crazy.
Yeah.
So to anybody out there starting a YouTube channel, if you wonder how long it takes to feel comfortable with your own voice and yourself on camera,
takes a while.
By 1,000, you feel pretty comfortable with your own voice. It doesn't mean your content's good. I still have a lot to learn, but it does mean that you feel confident editing it. You feel like, okay, I at least know the process to like upload a video and edit a video and listen to my own voice. So like I'm pretty happy with how much I've learned, and I don't realize how much I've learned until like a friend of mine starts to try to start a YouTube channel.
So one of the things we did, and this is just kind of sharing with you guys behind the scenes shop talk, is that when we first started, we would say, well, we don't know the answers. We have to figure out the questions first. We don't even know what we don't know and what to ask. And it's interesting to see how YouTube has also changed over the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So we had, we started out in August 8th, and we went into like various things, and things like really, you guys really responded well to like various content we made. And obviously some content that was like, like we had a podcast when we first started, and it was like, nope, nobody was interested. And that was really interesting to kind of learn and see that. Because for me, I was like, I've been doing podcasts. I like podcasts. But then as we kind of developed, then we go into 2017, and or we went into what year is it?
It's 2018.
Okay, so we went into 2017, and then we had the Adpocalypse 1.0 and 2.0 and 3.0, and YouTube was just getting hit, and all these big gaming personalities were doing all these horrible things. And then we go into this year, and we have Logan Paul doing these horrible things, and it's just like, And then obviously YouTube changed a lot of policies, and we saw a lot of comments and people respond, as we kind of post news on YouTube, saying that they're done and they're leaving, they're quitting. And that was very painful, because it's that, I don't do this for like success. We can't make a living off of what this pays. So it's like, well, I mean, there's a difference. I think if we were like, okay, this is a full-time job, then et cetera. But it's not about that. It's I enjoy making the videos. I enjoy making content. Sure. I enjoy sharing my perspective on how to lay out a controller or how to do this for something that I think is comfortable and hopefully efficient, and to be able to ideally teach and help that, because it's literally the extension of what I was doing for the years prior to us doing YouTube. I was like spending a lot of time writing up guides and emailing personal guides to people like, hey, you were asking about this, like here's what you should probably tackle. And doing it as a YouTube video is way more efficient from a time perspective, because it can live out there. No one's asking me like, hey Brian, where'd you post that guide? Oh, that website went down or something like that. Yeah. Who knows? So it's just interesting to see how YouTube has evolved and changed, and how our content has, because again, like 1,000 videos was not our goal by year 2.
No.
We were like, we were like, I don't even think we were at 300 or something videos at year one. So
No.
like our production has ramped up, and a lot of that's
We
because
posted 9 yesterday. 4.36 had a lot to talk about. The best part of posting 9 yesterday is I have 5 or 6 sitting in the editing booth from yesterday that just haven't come out yet.
yeah.
But I didn't want to work on them because I didn't want to post them and them be post number 1,000.
Strategery there. The I think about it because it's really funny because it's like, wow, like and I was gonna say like a lot of that production ramping up and increasing is because like of our Twitch subs or Patreons, you guys who cheer us on like with super chats. We've gotten several of you guys who've done that when we've been live, and it's just been this interesting concept. It's interesting to see how much the industry, like I'm not some kind of expert, has moved and shifted into the value of live, which has been fun. Mm-hmm. And that's why you see us streaming on YouTube. But there's also like there's the whole like I felt like 2017 was also the year of the MCN trying to recruit us, like, you know, come give us your money. Like, yeah, for what? For editing software, we've got that. For a music library, we're good.
We'll teach you how to post. It's like, well, you wouldn't have approached us if we hadn't known how to do that.
Yeah. Are you like calling random people up? It's like cold calling. Hi, have you thought about starting a YouTube channel? You have. Perfect.
It just seems weird that they would wait till a channel got big enough that it already has music editing software, cameras. Like, you've already figured all this stuff. It's like, okay, so now that you've literally brute forced this by slamming your face into the internet until you have something eligible to post. Yeah. Now that you figured all that out, we are ready to teach you from square one. It's like, where were you a year ago?
So all right, I got a question for you, Chris. When you look at comments, and I'm going to shift into the negative.
Okay.
Out of like all the comments that you get, like, what are some of the highlights? I don't want to give credit to the source, but like, is anything that kind of either like just really like hurts you, or is there anything that you like you see over and again? You're like, oh man.
When they tackle our physical appearance, sometimes they're very funny. Many times they're not. The most appalling comments I think we ever got was when somebody told you that they hoped you get cancer and die. Yeah. Something about you being a ginger.
Yeah, it was all ginger.
It was just ginger hate, and it was like a series of ginger hate posts. So we had to get them banned because it started to get really graphic and vivid, and like
they were really
okay. This might be something that like I have to submit as court evidence at some point if we just let this keep going on.
Humans.
And then
turns out it was an AI bot the whole time.
As far as total like my frustration with the comments section is just generally geared towards like people who click on a guide and say like, basically, I'm already an expert in this. Your guide was 1% off the mark, and I can't believe you took the time to edit this and post it to the internet.
For beginners.
And it like, I posted a post at one point. I don't remember what. I think it was crafting, and the original title. And we've gone back and messed with titles and stuff as analytics have tried to tell us. But the original title was "Beginner Introduction Guide to Crafting 101," and my wife was still somebody that I was like, I just made a video, and so I like had to share this with her. And my wife is very good at like English and grammar, and she reads a lot.
Do you think she speaks
very
English
knowledgeable? Good? She speaks English very, very good. So she's
a red mage.
She's and like it physically pained her when I told her that title. She goes, "That is so redundant, it hurts." And then, like, literally the first comment out the gate was like, well, you left off. You said that they could level crafters in whatever order they found fun. Yes, there's an optimal order, but it's not important. But it is important because it's so inefficient. And this is the only correct order to level your crafters in. It's like, that wasn't who this guy was for.
I'm just trying to encourage more people to try crafting.
Like, you clearly know crafting, so I don't even know why you clicked on a video that just says like Beginner Introduction 101 if you were just planning on, like, sometimes it just feels like, or the comments that come in and just say like WoW is better, and then they just leave. And it's like,
why
are you?
Like, why is it better? Tell me, like, I'm curious.
So as far as general frustration, yeah, that's something that you just have to compartmentalize.
To not answer my question, but to shift into the like just general comments I see on your videos that I always appreciate is when people comment on your looks with, "Wow, you're hot."
You got a couple.
I've gotten a few, and that's
especially
because,
on the beard.
And oh yeah, the
Solid,
beard. The
solid
beard
beard.
is a clear winner. But it's like, yeah, it's because I film from here, from here up. It's like, and then when I made the video, like, yeah, I weigh over 300 pounds, and people were like, what? Like, no way you weigh that much, and it's like, yeah. So the scales say. I'm gonna be inclined to believe it. I don't weigh 300 pounds anymore.
Yeah,
Really
my wife will always tell me like when she wants me to get a haircut, which started on this one about 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I've just ignored it. And so it's just gotten like outrageous. And then like you guys will comment like, you know, I came for the content, stayed for the hair. And so I'm like, see, the internet likes it. I can do what I want.
I always think it's like some of the key physical attributes that you bring to the channel would be your hair and your eyebrows.
I have really big eyebrows.
Yeah,
outrageously.
popping.
I'm afraid to ever get anything done to them.
Mine are so thin.
Because like it's just been such an identifying trait my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, people say I'm expressive, but I think it's just that you can see my eyebrows from like a mile out.
Yeah.
Because they're so big. I don't know. As far as positive comments, I really appreciate just when somebody says like, this is exactly the guide I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like that, just letting us know that like we hit the mark.
It's kind of like that. You see that, you're like, that song just goes off. You're like, awesome. Because it's that there is like you kind of get over it after doing 1,000 videos, but there's like, okay, like, did I pace it right? Am I clear? Am I speaking? Am I, it's like, I feel like I'm for the most part, outside of extreme rating, I'm a subject matter expert, especially on Final Fantasy, but there's other games that I feel like I'm definitely an expert, but we don't really cover most of those on the channel. But it's like, when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, and then it's like when people are like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed. It's like,
my biggest fear is true introduction videos. Those are the hardest videos to make because it's so easy to take what you know for granted
and assume that everybody knows that.
I don't want to talk down to you guys. Like, there are so many bright people in our audience that know so much more about these games than I do. Like, they're like, well, actually, when you said this was kind of the lore, it actually traces back to this like chapter that was in a book that was optional to read on like a desk in this one game. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And so like, there's so many like content experts in our community that are very bright and very well spoken. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't want to just assume that you know everything. And I'm like, so let's just start at step 3 here. And then people are like, well, you lost me. Like, I clicked on this video because I was trying to find the answer to something. And so it's a really hard balance. So I get nervous with beginner guides.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, I'm the same way. I've been enjoying kind of trying to like try different editing techniques and things like that. So I haven't been able to do much of that lately. I haven't seen a state of the game for me in 2 months. I've got several written and even a couple filmed, and it's like, and then I'm like, it doesn't really make sense in the context. But I'm hoping that, like as we go forward, because the whole point, I guess, of this question is that, so 2 years, that's incredible. Like, we can reflect on, the last 2 years and almost 19,000 subscribers. It's just unreal in my imagination. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the next 2 years. Like, what kind of content do you want to be known for? Like, what do you want Work to Game to be as we grow? Because we can't always be the same thing, and it's not, like, change is inevitable, and in fact it's a sign of life.
I think of myself as a gamer first, and I like things like racing games and shooting games and single player games. But as I start to, like, as an adult, as your time starts to become harder to come by,
it's weird how that works.
It kind of sorts itself out where, like, you think you like all these games equally, but some of them just fall off. Yeah. And you can look at the games you've bought over the last 2 years that you didn't put more than 10 hours in, and you just have to honestly admit that that's clearly not a game I like. Yeah. I want to like it. It's a great game. It's well done, but it just didn't make the list. Yeah. And the games that have stuck around have been MMOs. And so I think, as of today, and this may change again, I would like us to continue to be an authority on Final Fantasy, and obviously there's a lot of much bigger channels for Final Fantasy, but I'd like us to stay in some good company that's already out there. Mm-hmm. But I would like to kind of spread to being more an authority on all MMOs. Yeah. And it's something that we're starting with World of Warcraft, and we're starting to post guides on it. It's something that we've tried to make time for Warframe, and you've been playing a little more Guild Wars, and I would like to just kind of, one of the things I really admire is when like, my brother-in-law knows music, and when you talk about like, oh, this person was influenced by so and so, and he goes, oh, did you know they actually started as like a backup drummer for this and during this album? And like, I want to know MMOs the same way my brother
because they don't exist in a bubble. You can say one is better than the other, but it's like, then you could also look at it in a positive way. It's like, how can these different games help make it better for everybody, make it more enjoyable, push the narrative. Competition's really good. I think the fact that 14's success has been so meteoric and so well received, being a subscription-based MMO, you obviously have comparisons right over to World of Warcraft. And to see that in and of itself is something that is good for World of Warcraft. It's like, there's a market that is ready to absorb this if we don't deliver. And then same thing, like 14's like, well, how can we get better? And it's, and even if it isn't a direct, competition, it's still that as a, you want to sit here and say, wow, they tried this out and it worked. Or they didn't try, they did this and it didn't really go over so well. You can always learn from other people's both successes and mistakes. And that, I think, is really, really key. And that's a key in life outside of games in general. Like, if I think a coach told me back in high school, like, if you see somebody who's a success, see what they're doing. And then, if it works, do that thing. And if, and you see, in this case, see somebody who's not being successful, like, maybe even look into that and see, like, what are you doing that's not working? And then see if you could do your own twist or your own take on it. And that's where, my encouragement to anybody who's been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, like, if you've got the passion and you want to learn how to edit videos, do it. Just make some content.
Just post.
Have fun. Make sure you're passionate about it. Don't set yourself up for, like, a crazy schedule. Like, be flexible.
The algorithm doesn't share videos that people don't watch.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this, like, positive feedback loop. And so when your initial content gets out there until you kind of establish yourself, there's a real beauty to, like, you don't have to be embarrassed because... To be really honest, the algorithm's not going to share it. Like, our early videos had so few views, so anything I did that was poor just doesn't get seen, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right there. I think that across the board, I would love to see us be more of an authority. And I think it's interesting to look at the influences. You ask, like, well, why is 4.4 being pushed? It should have been the end of this month. Well, it does make you wonder, is World of Warcraft's launch date having an effect on Square Enix? Are they saying, let's just give it a month? Like, let's just let people go in there. They want to try new stuff. They'll realize that it's not as good as our game. They'll come back and we'll have new content waiting.
Yeah.
Like, is that part of the strategy? I don't know. And so it makes you look back and say, well, I was playing this game at this time. I wonder what else was going on. And so I want to be more broader.
My personal hope is that they look at it and instead of saying, let's push it, they say, what else can we include? Because let's say, okay, well, we could have released it at the end of August, but if we give ourselves an additional 2 or 3 weeks, because it makes sense, because otherwise we're going to fall right into this zone, well, what can else we do? Rather than sit on it, let's go ahead and say, oh, with that much time, we can actually afford to introduce this, or we can do this where we couldn't have before. And that becomes the challenge with, 14's kind of 3, I think somebody said it averages out right now about 112 days between patches on average. I think that sounds fairly reasonable, So anyway,
as a personal ambition, somebody asked us the other day in Discord, are we getting paid or are we getting free tickets to FanFest? As of today, we have never received a dime in sponsorship. We've never received anything free that we've put on the channel.
I've received a reply to an email once.
Yep. So we're getting closer to that point where there might be an opportunity for, like, little bits, and it's really exciting. But as far as 2 years out, just as far as, like, a personal ambition, I want to go to FanFest in 2 years regardless. So I hope Square doesn't see this, that I'll pay anyway.
Yeah.
But it would be really cool if they pay for my ticket.
If they go to a lottery system, it'd be cool if they at least save us the ability to purchase it and not have to wait in line. That would be a really cool channel.
People speculate that creators already have that. We don't.
No, not at all.
We don't.
No, not even an email. Like, hey, you going to FanFest?
Nope. Nothing. So okay. I would love to be invited to things.
It just, if nothing else, to say,
even just invited.
You're going to pay. Even just invited. We hope you come.
You're the kind of person we want to be there. Here's the link to spend money. That would be a huge improvement.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd love to see that in the next 2 years. Where do you see us being in 2 years?
Well, I mean, it's like I see, kind of like you said, the expansion of games. that we want to cover and talk about. I'm really interested in Anthem and Division 2. Same time, nervous for both of those games. So I want to look at talking about that. I love RPGs. I love RPGs. That's like, people are like, oh, you're a Final Fantasy channel. I go, I think I'm more an RPG channel. Like, if I was going to give myself a category, like, I love RPGs and anything with RPGs. Thing with RPGs, they take time. I'm an adult male who's married, got a baby number 3 coming here in a couple of weeks, assume it. It could be any day. And at the end of the day, like, I like playing those kind of games. I'm loving Octopath Traveler. Dragon Quest XI's coming out. Anthem, Division. Those have MMO roots and aspects. And it's all about, for me, I guess, trying to find a healthy balance between family, work, and RPG. It's like, how can I have a good balance? And that's where we're not going to be the first person. I don't think who knows? But in the next 2 years, I don't ever see ourselves being the first person to clear the raid. I don't see us being world first people, because I have a wife and kids. You have a wife. We have responsibilities, But I hope to have that kind of message to say, like, if you're like us, like, if you're got a job and you have either ambitions of a family or you have a family, that you too can still enjoy this kind of content and these kind of games, and still have fun and not feel like you have to be left out. Like, not have to feel like, I used to raid in college and now I can never play these games again. And it's like, no, you can, but it's a matter of,
not in the same way.
Yeah, not in the same way, but that
I've been a progression raider in WoW.
Yeah.
Where we were pushing to bosses that the strategies weren't public.
Yeah.
We weren't world first, but the people who were ahead of us, it was such a small number, and they were so interested in maintaining that lead that they weren't sharing their strategy.
But you don't want to share strats at that point. And then you do. At some point, it's just like, okay, it's our thing. Cool. I like to see us either take on more games or maybe be able to get more into, not the world first, but more progression. Now, I've put a lot of thought into that, in the sense that it needs to become a priority, and it needs to be scheduled, and there's so much more work that goes behind the scenes. I look at, especially the bigger creators and the various free companies, like, there's a lot of coordination, there's a lot of, here are the people who make the cut, here's the not, and it's like, I don't know if that's right for us, but either that or, we're going to play more games. It's about that. I think the conversation is going to keep going strong. I look forward to the next 4 years. The next 2 years, it's gonna be pretty cool, because that's gonna take us into 2020. We're gonna be talking about a whole new generation of consoles. Everything gets reset. Nothing that has happened before is an indicator of what the future is gonna hold for gaming. I think it's gonna be a wild ride. That's what I think.
Cool. Well, guys, it's been fun to just sit here and chat with you. We don't do these channel posts as often anymore. We've since kind of shifted our time more into guides and opinions, and our collabs have been more about all the craziness going on in gaming.
Yeah.
So it's nice to just sit here and kind of talk to you guys and share this with you. Thank you guys so much. Especially, I want to give a special thanks to the people who have subscribed to us over on Twitch, Amazon Prime or not, the people who have kind of donated, whatever YouTube's calling it now, memberships, sponsors.
Memberships.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get used to it.
And then and then definitely to our Patreons. Patreon's a really neat platform. It gives a really good split to the creator. So if you have other creators that you want to support, Patreon is just a really neat place that I appreciate. So thank you guys. And to everybody that's just hit that subscribe button and hung out and commented and said thank you and thumbs up. Those are all... That's what we look forward to. When I wake up in the morning and I can scroll to my phone and it's just nothing but comments.
Comment. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Well, I was gonna say.
On that note, you guys have a fantastic day. This is Chris.
This is Brian.
We'll see you next time.
Take care. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to check out any other videos. You should click over here. And then we've got like some kind of vlog thing down here in the corner. And then we've got like subscribe. Like that's really, you should totally do it. This was a complete disaster.